My passion is health and wellness, whether or not I decide to live by that on a day-to-day basis. I try to eat healthy and be an active individual. But is this enough to fend off disease and cancer down the road? In order to address this question, it's important for us to dive into the most important factor that influences our health: food. I believe that people should switch to more plant-based foods instead of rely on heavily processed meat and dairy to meet their dietary needs, such as my dad. The fast food industries and convenience shopping and dietary slogans have made us slaves to them. The beautiful thing about it is that we have a choice. Cutting out meat and dairy can reduce the risk of heart disease, cancer, depression, and the list goes on and on. It may also improve recovery in athletes. Let's begin our journey through this controversial topic. According to Dr. Michael Greger in his book titled How Not to Die, the body tries to heal on its own, but when we eat unhealthy foods such as dairy and meat, we constantly prevent our body from doing so. It would be similar to bruising your arm and continually injuring it so the bruise would never heal. In regards to heart disease, there is an enormous amount of evidence to suggest that plant-based diets can heal the body instead of simply medications alone. In a paper written in the American Heart Journal in 1977 called Angina and Vegan Diet, researchers treated patients with chest pain related to clogged arteries with a vegan diet. One of their patients could hardly walk 10 steps at a time due to the terrible pain he was in. However, within months, he went from barely walking to climbing mountains without any pain. This highlights the extraordinary healing that occurs when we give our bodies the opportunity to do so. My heart goes out for the thousands of women and men who will be diagnosed with breast cancer this year. But in the country we live in, this should be expected. In Asian countries, however, women are 5 times less likely to get breast cancer, according to Parkin and Fernandez in their paper titled The Use of Statistics to Assess the Global Burden of Breast Cancer, published in 2006 in the Breast Journal. Due to their high intake of green tea and soy and very little intake of dairy and meat. How can plant foods decrease our risk? A study out of Yale University was able to demonstrate that women who ate more than 6 grams of soluble fiber per day had a 62% reduced risk of breast cancer compared to women who ate less than 4 grams per day. And unfortunately, meat and dairy lack any sort of fiber, ladies and gentlemen. In fact, heterocyclic amines are linked to breast cancer. This molecule is formed when the muscle of meat is exposed to high temperatures. In fact, people who eat meat cooked above 212 degrees Fahrenheit had more mutagenic substances found in feces and urine, which are responsible for triggering cancer development. Further evidence suggests that people who consume meat well done are more likely to develop a host of other cancers as well, due to the production of carcinogens at such a high temperature. Moving away from the biological harms of eating meat and dairy, there are also psychological problems associated as well. According to a study, researchers tested mood and depression between people who ate a standard diet and a plant-based diet. As expected, people who ate more plant-based foods were happier and felt better than those who did not. One reason for this is that they were actually healthier, were not as medicated, and had fewer surgeries and medical treatments. A more exact explanation has been explored and considers the molecule arachidonic acid found in animal foods. This molecule is made naturally by our body, so we don't need more of it in our diet. The body breaks down this chemical into inflammatory chemicals that produce their negative effects on our brain cells. People with higher amounts of this chemical in the brain are at a greater risk of suicide and depression. Finally, And some people think that vegans don't gain muscle well or are missing out on key nutrients offered by animal foods. And while this is a legitimate concern at face value, looking into actual evidence proves otherwise. In actuality, a vegan diet can decrease recovery time between workouts, according to an NIH study published in 2017 conducted by David Rogerson. The amounts of antioxidants in whole foods allows for greater elimination of hazardous byproducts of working out, similar to engine vapors produced while driving a car that are really smelly. In conclusion, a vegan diet clearly comes with a multitude of benefits. Some people are very quick to dismiss such a lifestyle, and I don't blame anyone for that because our society teaches us differently. But if we want to improve our lives for the better, we should start with what we eat.